turned 36, I had the best handle on my life. I was in therapy. I was in the best shape of my life. I was making 6 figures doing what I love, and I was dating a higher caliber of man. I'm talking about the kind of guy who tells other people you're their girlfriend. In Los Angeles! You have to dig for these fuckers, but they're there! It was going great, and I actually was dating this one guy. Very briefly, he called it quits, and that's fine, because now I had new tools to self-soothe, okay? I wasn't gonna sleep around or drink my way through every bar. Instead, I could go hiking, I could meditate, and I could call my therapist. Yes, and that lasted for 2 whole weeks. Then, those self-sabotage feelings start to resurface, right? And I realize what I really need is some sexual healing. So, but I'm not gonna do it with a rando. I'm not gonna be scrolling through on Tinder. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I decided to call up my good friend Craig. Here's why. Craig is devastatingly good looking, but also somebody I knew I would never date. I called this keeping it simple. My therapist called it still filling a void. Okay. So, if I could describe my perfect man, physically, it's Craig Tovey. He's 6'2". He's a combination between Jason Sudeikis and John Krasinski. He's got a penchant for deep conversation and a great sense of humor. Before I go further, by round of applause, anybody in this audience who has children? How many of you guys have children? Great, great, great. Okay. Now, out of everybody who just clapped, clap again if you were married when you had those children. Great. Okay, now how many of you accidentally got pregnant from a one-night stand with your friend Craig, and now you're co-parenting a 3.5-year-old? So just, okay. Well, boy, do I have a story for you. Good old Craig. He came over that night to make me feel better. And it was a rough night for both of us. First off, he had had 2 bottles of Coors Light, and I had 2 bottles of Chardonnay. So, a very different vibe going on. At one point during sex, he asked me to not throw up on him. So not the whirlwind romance we're all hoping for, right? The next morning, I text him, I go, hey man, I just wanna make sure we're good. And he goes, yeah, we're so good, I wouldn't even consider what we did last night sex. And I was like, oh, thank God, me neither. Woo! I was like, so can we make a pact? And he's like, yeah. I go, let's not tell anybody. He's like, no, we're not gonna tell anybody. So we made a vow. We are not gonna tell a single person for the rest of our lives under any circumstances that we ever had sex. Yeah. Yeah. What a fun promise. Because 3 weeks later, a late period, a positive pregnancy test, we were like, we're gonna have to tell a lot of fucking people, right?